Jasmine Williams woke up tied to a chair. The warehouse stank of rust and fear. Rope bit into her wrists. Her head pounded. One bare bulb swung overhead, shadows crawling across concrete. 6 months in Seoul, exchange student at Yonsei, living the dream, and now this. The van. Hands grabbing her, chemical sweet cloth over her face. Nothing, until now. She's awake. Korean, fast and clipped. Tell Boss Chen. American girl, they knew who she was. Footsteps. 3 men emerged from darkness. The center one wore an expensive suit that screamed money and menace. Sharp face, winter cold eyes. Miss Williams, English, thick accent. You know why you're here? Jasmine's throat felt like sandpaper. No, I'm a student. I don't have money. This isn't ransom. This is leverage. He circled her chair. You had coffee with Park Minji last week, Detective Park's daughter. That makes you useful. Her blood froze. Minji, her friend from language class. Sweet girl who'd helped her navigate the subway, taught her how to order food, never mentioned her father was a cop. You're wrong. It doesn't matter. He crouched, face level with hers. When Detective Park sees photos of his daughter's American friend in our custody, he'll understand. Everyone she loves can be touched, can be taken. That's when he backs off his crusade against the triads. Chinese organized crime, Seoul turf wars, things she'd read about but never touched her world. Until now. Take pictures. Korean again. Make sure she looks scared. Camera flashes exploded, white bursts leaving spots in her vision. This was real. She was a pawn in a game she didn't understand. She'd come to Korea for adventure, for something more than the predictable life waiting in Atlanta. Her parents had worried. Only daughter, foreign country, dangerous. She'd promised them Seoul was safe. And it was. Until it wasn't. What happens now? Her voice barely worked. Boss Chen smiled. Terrifying. Now we wait for Detective Park to see our message. If he's smart, he backs off. If not, he shrugged. We'll see what his daughter's friend is worth. He left, footsteps echoing away. The light seemed dimmer, shadows deeper. Jasmine tried to think, to plan. Terror made it impossible. How long had she been out? Were her roommates worried? Would anyone notice? Then, new sounds, metal screeching, urgent voices in rapid Korean. Chen reappeared, confidence replaced by something sharper. Dangerous. He barked orders, his men scattered. 3 stayed, weapons suddenly visible. What's happening? Jasmine called. Chen cursed. How did they find us? Boss, we need to move her. I know who's coming. The warehouse door exploded inward, wood splintering, metal twisting. Jasmine screamed. Men in dark tactical gear poured through, military precision, not police, leading them. A man who commanded attention without effort, 6 feet tall, broad shoulders filling a black suit, face carved from granite, sharp cheekbones, strong jaw, eyes that burned with icy fury, black hair styled back, emphasizing his features. This was a man who didn't ask for respect. He took it. Chen, one word, Korean, loaded with menace. You made a mistake. Kang Jun. The name appeared in Jasmine's mind with primal certainty. Head of the Chilsung-pa, Seoul's most powerful Korean crime family. News articles danced around accusations they couldn't prove. A ghost. A myth. A man whose hands stayed clean while his influence touched everything. And he was here, looking at Chen like a man deciding which piece of meat to carve. None of your business, Kang. Chen tried to sound confident. Failed. The girl is leverage against the police. My territory. Kang Jun's voice was soft, terrifying because of it. Seoul, mine. Incheon, mine. Everything from here to Busan, mine. You decided to kidnap a civilian, an American, in my city without asking permission. He stepped forward. Chen's men tensed. An American student disappearing in Seoul brings federal agencies, diplomatic incidents, international task forces. You wanted to message one detective. You were prepared to burn everything I've built. We would have been careful. You would have been stupid. You are stupid. Taking her was stupid. Operating in my city without consequences was stupid. Now face those consequences. His hand moved, barely a flick, and his men exploded into action. Controlled chaos. Professional execution. Chen's men tried fighting back. They were outclassed in seconds. Disarmed. Subdued. Forced to knees. Chen tried running. A massive man with a buzz cut caught him by the collar like a wayward child. Through it all, Kang Jun hadn't moved. Hands in pockets. Expression unchanged. Watching a mildly interesting theater performance. Only when Chen's men were secured did he move toward Jasmine. She held her breath. Was he more or less dangerous than Chen? At least Chen had been clear. This man was an enigma in expensive Italian wool. He stopped a few feet away, studying her with dark, intense eyes. Up close, she saw details. Scar above his left eyebrow, precise facial hair trim, perfect shirt collar, everything controlled. Contained. Deliberate. Miss Williams? He knew her name. Apologies for the dramatic entrance. Are you injured? The normalcy of the question almost made her laugh. She shook her head. He gestured. One of his men cut her restraints immediately. The moment ropes fell away, Jasmine's hands flew to her raw wrists. Her legs shook. Someone steadied her. Can you walk? I think so. Who are you? Why? Explanations can wait. We need to leave. This location will attract attention. Neither of us wants to be here when it arrives. He turned to his men, rapid Korean. Clean this up. Chen and his people need to understand the cost of operating in my territory. I want them on a plane to Beijing by morning. What about the American? One asked. Kang Jun's eyes flickered to her. Unreadable. She comes with me. I'll handle her personally. The finality in his tone sent shivers down Jasmine's spine. Rescued from one dangerous man, claimed by another. But what choice did she have? When he walked toward the exit, her feet followed. Night air slapped her face. Industrial district. Warehouses everywhere. Han River visible in the distance. Sky still dark. Maybe hours since the kidnapping. A black Mercedes waited, engine purring. Kang Jun opened the rear door, gestured her in. Leather and expensive cologne. Jasmine slid across the seat. He followed, settling beside her with easy confidence. The driver pulled away smoothly, heading toward city center. Seoul's lights spread out, beautiful and familiar. Tears pricked Jasmine's eyes. Safe. Alive. You're wondering why I rescued you. Kang Jun's voice pulled her back. She turned. In dim light, he seemed slightly less intimidating. Slightly. Hard face, sharp eyes, but something in his jaw suggested discomfort, too. Yes, you could have let the police handle it. Or let Chen keep me. You're nobody to anyone in this business. That's precisely why you shouldn't have been involved. The triads crossed a line taking you. In my city, there are rules. Chen broke them. So this was about territory? Your pride? Anger cut through fear. I was kidnapped, tied up, threatened, and it's just about turf? Something flickered in his eyes. I didn't say I rescued you for noble reasons. Chen broke the rules. Actions have consequences. He needed to learn that. And what about me? What are my consequences? Silence. Heavy. Finally. Right now, you're a complication. The triads won't forget I took something they wanted, which means you're not safe. Not safe? But you stopped them. I'm not protecting you. I'm managing a situation. There's a difference. The car pulled up to a high-rise in Gangnam, glass and steel, screaming money. Kang Jun owned it. Obviously, marble lobby, security nodding respectfully, elevator climbing into the 40s, top floor, penthouse, doors open directly into luxury, floor-to-ceiling windows offering panoramic Seoul views, city glittering like earthbound stars, sleek furniture, real art, museum quality, criminal elite living. You'll stay here. He shrugged out of his jacket. White shirt, dark slacks. Slightly more human. Slightly. Guest room through that door. Food in the kitchen. Don't leave. For how long? Until I say otherwise. Jasmine's hands clenched. You can't just keep me here. I have classes, friends. I need... Miss Williams. He turned fully. His gaze made her words die. Let me be clear. The triads know you're connected to Detective Park's daughter. They know you're connected to me now. You're a liability to everyone until this is resolved. Your presence on campus puts classmates at risk. With friends? Risk. The only place you're safe is here under my protection, whether you want it or not. I didn't ask for protection. No, but you have it anyway. Your fate and mine are entangled now. Get comfortable. He disappeared through a door. Bedroom. Jasmine stood there, mind reeling, kidnapped by Chinese criminals, rescued by Korean crime boss, essentially captive, for her safety in a penthouse worth more than her parents' lifetime earnings. Absurd, terrifying, insane. She looked at Seoul's glittering skyline. The city she'd loved just showed her its darkest underbelly. But she was alive, safe, for now, in this gilded cage. She just had to navigate the man who'd put her there, the man with dark eyes holding unfathomable secrets, whose presence filled every room, who'd saved her life while claiming it wasn't about her. Kang Jun, Seoul's most dangerous man, her unwilling protector, her jailer, the enigma she was bound to, and this was just the beginning. Morning sun through floor-to-ceiling windows woke her gently. For a confused moment, she didn't remember. Bed too soft, sheets too expensive, room too large. Then memory crashed back. She sat bolt upright. The warehouse. Kang Jun. The penthouse. Real. Same clothes from last night. Jeans and sweater, grimy against her skin. Phone missing. No way to contact anyone. The guest room was beautiful. Minimalist with warm wood, plush king bed, ensuite bathroom like a luxury hotel. She took a long shower, trying to wash away rope memories and warehouse air. Someone had left clothes, jeans in her size, soft cashmere sweater, undergarments in packages. How did he know her sizes? Thorough, she'd give him that. Dressed perfectly, she ventured out. Penthouse quiet. Only city hum far below. She found Kang Jun in a home office behind massive dark wood desk, focused on a laptop. Black slacks, charcoal sweater that probably cost more than her wardrobe. Hair perfect, face freshly shaved. Sophisticated criminal overlord. He didn't look up. There's coffee in the kitchen, food, help yourself. English precise, nearly accent-free. Where had he learned it? She found the kitchen, marble, state-of-the-art appliances, and poured coffee from a machine probably worth more than tuition. Fresh fruit, bakery fresh pastries, yogurt and granola. Someone had shopped. She made a plate and returned, settling in a chair across from him uninvited. He finally looked up, dark eyes assessing. The clothes fit? Yes. How did you know my sizes? I make it my business to know things. He closed the laptop. We need to discuss the situation. You mean where I'm your prisoner? His jaw tightened. First crack in composure. You're not my prisoner. You're under protection. Significant difference. Is there? I can't leave. Can't contact anyone. Stuck here at your discretion. For your safety. You keep saying that, but what does it mean? How long? What happens next? He was quiet, fingers drumming once, small gesture, quickly controlled. He wasn't entirely comfortable either. The triads made a mistake taking you, but they won't see it that way. I interfered, humiliated them. Boss Chen will report to superiors in Beijing. They'll want restitution. Restitution, I'm a person, not property. In their world, you're exactly that. You were leverage. Now you're a symbol of their loss. The distinction is academic. What does that mean for me? He stood, moving to the window. Back to her. Morning light cast his profile sharp. Strong nose, firm chin, slight shoulder tension. It means you need to disappear. University, friends, family, you've taken sudden leave. Personal emergency, family matters. Details don't matter. What matters is you're not visible until I negotiate resolution with the triads. Negotiate. Pay them off? Apologize? Something like that. He turned. Something in his expression made her breath catch. Not kindness, incapable, but perhaps concern's closest cousin. I know this isn't what you wanted. Education, culture, experience. You didn't sign up for organized crime, but circumstances placed you here. I'm doing what I must to keep you alive. Why? The question burst out. Why care if I live or die? You said I'm a complication, a liability. Why not turn me to police? Wash your hands. For the first time, he looked uncomfortable. Expression flickering, too fast to read before settling back. Because Chen took you from my city, presumed to operate without consequences. Giving you up now sends a message that I'm weak, that my rules don't matter. In my world, perception is everything. I can't afford weakness. Pragmatic, logical. But Jasmine had seen that flicker. There was more. She filed it away. So I'm stuck until you and the triads agree about me. Yes. How long? Days, possibly weeks. Weeks, heavy. Jasmine would miss exams, visa problems, professors wondering, parents frantic. I need to contact family, let them know I'm okay. He considered, nodded slowly. I'll provide a phone. One message, carefully worded, nothing revealing location or situation. Tell them you're taking a short trip. Fine. In touch soon. Can you do that? Do I have a choice? Not really. At least he was honest. Days fell into unexpected rhythm. Mornings exploring the penthouse, private gym, library with books in multiple languages, home theater, rooftop garden. Kang Jun left early, often before she woke, managing his empire. Evenings he returned around dinner, often with takeout or fresh ingredients he cooked himself. That surprised her. Powerful crime boss at the stove, preparing japchae and kimchi jjigae with focused precision. Dinners were quiet, long silences, careful conversations about nothing. But gradually, ice cracked. It started with books. She found him in the library one evening, standing before shelves with a hardcover. Camus' The Stranger in French. You read French? Many languages, French, English, Japanese, Mandarin, Korean. Languages are tools. More you have, more doors open. Pragmatic way to look at literature. He glanced at her, almost amused. Is there another? Some read for pleasure, beauty, joy of language. Do you? First personal question. Jasmine moved to shelves, fingers running along spines. I used to. Back home, hours in bookstores, reading opening lines, seeing which caught me. My mom joked I was more interested in books than people. Were you? Sometimes. Books were safer, more predictable. People. She shrugged. People are complicated. Yes, softly. Something in his tone made her look closer. They are. From that night, they found themselves in the library together. Jasmine reading, curled in leather armchairs. Kang Jun working on laptop or reviewing documents. Occasionally discussing what they read, never too personal, but revealing layers. Jasmine learned he'd studied at Oxford, planned to be a lawyer before his father's death thrust him into family business. He'd never wanted this life, but accepted it as duty. He learned about her, daughter of high school teacher and nurse in Atlanta. First in family to study abroad. Dreams of international development, bridging cultural divides. How Korea captured her heart the moment she stepped off the plane. You still want to leave, he observed one evening. Not quite a question. Rooftop garden, city lights like stars. Jasmine came here when walls felt confining, when she needed air that didn't taste of captivity. Of course, I miss freedom. My life. But, she looked at him, so many contradictions and expensive tailoring. But I understand why you're keeping me. Don't like it, but understand. The triads won't forget. I've seen enough movies to know organized crime doesn't shrug and move on. Life isn't a movie? No, it's worse. In movies, stakes are clear. Good guys and bad guys obvious. In real life? She gestured between them. I've been saved by a criminal and threatened by criminals. Can't tell who's supposed to be what. He was quiet. Profile limned in city glow. I'm not a good man. Don't confuse protection with goodness. I run an organization profiting from vices, make decisions that ruin lives. I've done things. He stopped, jaw tightening. Things that would horrify you. Then why tell me? Why warn me? Because you look at me sometimes with something like trust. You shouldn't. Trust is dangerous in my world. More dangerous than kidnapping? He turned fully. Intensity in his gaze caught her breath. Yes, the triads are enemies. You know where you stand. But with me? He moved closer, one step, crossing invisible boundaries. With me, you might forget what I am. That would be a mistake. Her heart hammered. She didn't step back. What makes you think I'd forget? You've been very clear. Have I? His hand lifted, almost touching her face, stopping just shy. Air crackled. Because lately, I find myself forgetting too. Admission hung stark, vulnerable, at odds with everything about Kang Jun. Before she could respond, his phone buzzed sharply. Moment shattered. He stepped back, reading the screen. Problem. Triads made contact, demanding a meeting. Good or bad? Neither. Inevitable. He typed rapidly, looked at her. Go inside. Guest room. Don't come out until I say safe. Kang Jun? Now Jasmine. First name, precise accent, shiver through her. Please. She went. Urgency left no argument. From the guest room, she listened to penthouse transforming. Footsteps, low voices, elevator arriving and leaving. Preparing, gathering people. Fortifying. Hours passed. She tried reading. Words swam meaningless. That moment on the rooftop. Raw honesty in his voice admitting to forgetting himself around her. What had he meant? She'd started seeing him differently, more than captor, noticing how his eyes softened when he thought she wasn't looking. Small gestures disguised as practicality. Coffee made how she liked. Books appearing that she'd mentioned. Blanket left because she complained about cold AC. Kang Jun was caring for her while claiming it was calculation, and she was starting to care back. Past midnight when she heard the elevator. Footsteps. His, she'd learned them, stopping outside her door. Long moment. Then quietly. Jasmine, safe now. Come out. She opened the door. Him leaning against the wall, more exhausted than she'd seen. Jacket off, shirt rumpled, thin cut on cheekbone, but alive. Whole. What happened? Fighting urge to check the cut? Negotiations. Triads wanted to establish terms. He pushed off, heading to kitchen. Angry, but listening. Chen exceeded authority taking you without Beijing approval. Superiors more interested in maintaining peace than avenging his humiliation? That's good. Progress. He poured whiskey, downed it. But they set conditions. Want assurances I won't expand into territory, compensation for loss of face, and they want... He stopped, jaw tight. Want what? Proof you're unharmed? Willing to testify they treated you well? Cold. They want me to lie? Say they didn't kidnap me? They want insurance. If you testify Chen acted improperly, it justifies disciplining him themselves. Saves face while agreeing to leave you alone. If I refuse, he set down glass carefully, then we remain at impasse. You remain here indefinitely, or until it escalates to violence. You'd go to war over me. I'd go to war over crossing lines in my territory. You're the catalyst, not the cause. But something in his eyes made her wonder if he was honest, with her or himself. She moved closer, close enough to see exhaustion, tension in every line. The cut, what happened? Disagreement, resolved. Did they hurt you? More concerned than intended. Expression shifted, surprise flickering before masked. I'm fine, survived much worse. That's not what I asked. Long look, unreadable. No one has asked me that in a very long time. Asked if you're hurt? Asked as if my answer mattered? Quiet, almost reluctant. It broke something in Jasmine's chest. She saw him then, truly saw, not powerful crime boss, not dangerous man commanding shadow empire, but the person beneath, who'd studied at Oxford and dreamed of law, son who'd taken unwanted burden from duty, leader bearing weight of countless lives and decisions no one would understand. Lonely. It matters to me. Kang Jun's breath caught. Carefully maintained control cracked. Hand cupping her cheek, surprisingly gentle. You shouldn't care. Makes you vulnerable. Maybe I want to be. Maybe I'm tired of being careful. Jasmine? No. She covered his hand with hers. You've spent weeks protecting me, keeping me safe, managing this impossible situation. You've shown me pieces of who you are while warning me not to trust. But I do trust you. More than I've trusted anyone in a long time. You shouldn't. But his thumb traced her cheekbone, gentle, devastating. Too late. He kissed her, not gentle, not careful. Everything he'd held back. All the tension and want and need building in stolen glances and accidental touches and conversations going deeper than intended. His mouth claimed hers with intensity, stealing her breath. Other hand tangling in her hair, holding her like she might disappear. She kissed back with equal fervor, hands fisting in his shirt, pulling closer. Tasting whiskey on his lips, feeling barely leashed power. Tremor in hands speaking to control required not to take more. When they broke apart, Breathing hard, he rested forehead against hers. This is a mistake. Probably. I can't give you what you deserve. Safety, normalcy, any future without looking over your shoulder. I'm not asking for those. What are you asking for? She pulled back to look in his eyes, seeing vulnerability he tried hiding. Stop pretending you don't feel this. Whatever this is. Be honest with me and yourself. I'm not a good man. I know, you've said that. Multiple times. But you're good to me. You saved me. Protected me. Shown me more care than you'll admit. Maybe it started as pragmatic, but somewhere it became something else. Something real. Eyes closed. When opened, something shifted. Mask lowered enough to see the man underneath. When I walked into that warehouse and saw you tied to that chair, I felt something I haven't in years. Fear. Not for myself, operation, territory. For you. What might happen if I was too late? It terrified me. Why? Because caring, in my world, is liability. Gives enemies a target. Makes me weak. Or makes you human. He laughed. Short, rough, might have been pain. I stopped being just human long ago. I'm head of criminal organization. I've ordered things that would sicken you. Built my life on violence and intimidation and exploiting weaknesses. I know who you are, what you are. But I also know you could have left me with triads, turned me to police, kept me locked in that guest room with guards. Instead, you gave me freedom within these walls. Books and conversation and more kindness than you'll admit. That counts. Does it, or does it just make me better at lying? I don't think you're lying. I think you're scared of what you feel, what it means, letting someone see parts you've kept hidden. Jaw tight. You're too perceptive. You're more human than you admit. He kissed her again, softer, with tenderness making her chest ache. Pulling away. I need to meet with triads tomorrow, finalize terms. If they agree, you'll be free. Back to your life, studies, normal world. Should have filled her with joy. Freedom, life back, normal. Instead, sharp pang like loss. What if I don't want normal? Expression unreadable. What are you saying? Maybe I want to stay. See where this goes, whatever this is between us. Jasmine, I'm not naive. I know what you do. Know your world is dangerous, complicated, probably going to break my heart. But I've spent my whole life being careful, sensible, making smart choices. Where did it get me? Kidnapped by criminals, held by a crime boss who makes me feel more alive than I have in years. She stepped closer, feeling his body heat. You asked what I'm asking for. I'm asking for a chance. Real chance to see if this feeling is worth fighting for. Let me in, not just physically, but emotionally. Trust me like you're asking me to trust you. You don't know what you're asking. Then show me. Tell me truth about who you are. All of it. Let me decide if I can handle your world. He stared. Something like wonder-crossing features. Then took her hand, gripped gentle but firm, led her to couch. They sat. He began talking. Growing up son of crime boss, never quite fitting, but unable to escape. His mother dying young, leaving him with father who showed love through violence and control. Oxford, studying law, dreaming of different life, only to have father murdered by rivals when he was 23, forcing him to abandon dreams and take control or watch it torn apart. First time ordering violence against another person. How it sickened him for days. Vomiting in bathroom, swearing never again. Breaking that vow within a month because that's what survival required. Legitimate businesses to wash money. People employed who had no idea salaries came from illegal gambling and protection. Charities donated to, orphanages, schools, community centers. Trying to balance scales with something resembling good. The loneliness. Crushing, absolute isolation of being feared. Presence clearing rooms. Couldn't trust anyone because betrayal was the language. Learning to lock away any part that felt, wanted, needed connection because vulnerabilities could be exploited. Until you. Until I walked into that warehouse and saw you. Defiant and terrified. And felt something crack open. I told myself it was pragmatic. That protecting you served my interests. Truth is, from that first moment, I wanted to know you. Understand what kind of woman could be thrown into that and still have fire in her eyes. Jasmine's throat tight. I'm not special, just a student caught up in something over her head. You're wrong. Hand cupping her face again. Reverent. You're the first person in a decade who's looked at me and seen someone worth caring about. First who's asked if I'm hurt and meant it. First who's made me want to be something other than what circumstances made me. I can't change you. Wouldn't want to. You are who you are because of choices made, burdens carried. All I can do is stand beside you and hope that's enough. It's more than enough. It's everything. They didn't make love. Both understood crossing that line required more than heat. But they stayed on that couch until dawn painted the sky, talking and touching and learning each other in ways having nothing to do with bodies and everything to do with souls. When sun rose over Seoul, Jasmine understood she'd made a choice. Dangerous, possibly foolish, absolutely terrifying. She was falling in love with Kang Joon, with the man behind the facade, with the wounded soul trying to do right in a world respecting only might, with the person who'd saved her not because he had to, but because beneath armor, he'd recognized something in her calling to something in him. Question now, would the world let them explore that? Answer came sooner than expected. Meeting with triads was neutral ground. Private room in high-end Itaewon restaurant. Public enough to discourage violence, private enough for frank discussion. Kang Joon left early, sharpest suit, expression that carefully blank mask she recognized as armor. Stay here, don't answer the door, no calls. If anything goes wrong, panic button under kitchen counter. Press it, my men will come. What could go wrong? Hopefully nothing, but in my world, hope isn't strategy. He kissed her, quick, fierce, full of unspoken promises, then gone. Jasmine alone with spiraling thoughts. She tried occupying herself, book, watching City, coffee she didn't drink. Minutes crawled like hours. Phone buzzed. Secure device Kang Joon gave her. She nearly jumped. Unknown number. We have him, the penthouse, 1 hour. Come alone or he dies. Phone slipped from fingers, clattering on hardwood. No, this couldn't happen. Triads weren't supposed to know about the penthouse. Kang Joon had been so careful, but somewhere, leak. And now they had him. Every rational thought screamed press panic button, call for help, let his organization handle it. But the message was clear, come alone or he dies. She couldn't let that happen. Not to the man who'd saved her. Not to the person she'd fallen impossibly in love with. She grabbed her jacket, halfway to elevator when she forced herself to stop. Think. Running in without plan was suicide. Triads wanted her alone, but that didn't mean helpless. Weeks here taught her things about his world. Small things from overheard conversations, observations, where he kept secondary phone with direct lines to lieutenants, where building security office was, how to move through Seoul underground to avoid being followed. She sent message from Kang Joon's secondary phone to a memorized number, second in command Lee Min-ho. Triads have the boss. Using me as bait. I'm going in. Track this phone. Didn't wait for response. Activated GPS tracking, slipped phone and jacket, headed for elevator. Address led to abandoned factory in Guro, industrial district smelling of chemicals and decay. Building loomed against gray sky, windows broken, walls covered in graffiti. Perfect for bad things. Heart hammering as she approached. Every instinct screamed run, turn back, let someone else handle this. But she thought of Kang Joon's face, vulnerability he'd shown, how he'd looked at her like she was precious. She couldn't abandon him. Factory interior, maze of shadows and rusted machinery. She moved carefully, listening. Voices echoed from deeper in. Rapid Mandarin she couldn't follow. She found them on main production floor, Kang Joon tied to chair, blood from cut lip, shirt torn, but alive, conscious, eyes blazing with barely suppressed fury. Boss Chen stood before him, flanked by 6 men. When Jasmine entered, Chen turned with crawling smile. Miss Williams, how punctual. I worried you'd call for help. Let him go. You wanted me, not him. I'm here. Not quite that simple. Chen circled her slowly. She forced herself not to flinch. You see, Kang Joon humiliated me. Cost me face. Simply killing you both would be too quick. No, I want him to watch you die first. Want him to know everything he's built. Power, control, territory. Couldn't save the one person he cares about. Chen, don't. Kang Joon's voice rough. Kill me, but let her go. She's not part of this. She's innocent. No one is innocent. She made her choice staying with you. Now she pays. One of Chen's men grabbed Jasmine's arm, grip bruising. She struggled. Too strong, forcing her to knees. Another produced knife, blade catching dim light. Jasmine, Kang Jun strained against bonds, chair creaking. Chen, if you hurt her, you'll what? You're tied to a chair. Your men don't know where you are. No one's coming. For once, you're not in control. How does it feel? But Chen made crucial error. He assumed Jasmine would be too scared, too panicked to act. Underestimated her, like people had been underestimating her all her life. Quiet girl preferring books to parties. Student playing it safe, studying abroad. He didn't know Jasmine Williams grew up with 2 older brothers who taught her to fight dirty. Didn't know she'd taken self-defense in college. Didn't know fear and courage weren't opposites. They were dance partners. The man holding her made his second mistake. Underestimated her reach. Jasmine twisted, momentum slamming elbow back into his solar plexus. He gasped, grip loosening. She drove heel down on instep. As he stumbled, she grabbed knife from his belt, move surprising her and him, and spun away. Factory erupted. Kang Jun threw himself sideways in chair, toppling onto floor where he writhed, fighting bonds. Chen's men converged on Jasmine. She was already moving, using machinery as cover, staying low, difficult target. She wasn't a fighter, no illusions. But she was smart, desperate, and bought them time. Time for Kang Jun's men to arrive. They came through every entrance simultaneously. Lee Min-ho leading with dozen men. Armed, professional, triads tried fighting back. Outnumbered, outgunned, over in minutes. Jasmine pressed against machine, knife still clutched in shaking hands, watching as Kang Jun's men secured area. Lee cut Kang Jun free. Moment bonds fell, he was moving. Not toward Chen, not toward his men, toward her. Reached her in seconds, hands framing her face, eyes searching with intensity, stealing breath. Are you hurt? Did they? I'm okay. She dropped knife, hands covering his. You're bleeding. I don't care. He pulled her into arms, holding so tight it almost hurt. She felt him trembling. Kang Jun, always controlled, shaking. You shouldn't have come. Should have pressed panic button. Let my men handle it. They said they'd kill you if I didn't come alone. You believed them? They would have killed us both regardless. Chen wanted revenge. I know, but I couldn't take the risk. Couldn't let you die. He pulled back to look at her. Tears in his eyes. First time she'd seen him close to crying. You could have been killed. Because of me, dragging you into this. Stop. Fingers to his lips. I chose to come. I chose you. And I'd make the same choice again. Something broke in his expression. Careful control shattering. He kissed her desperately, deeply, tasting of blood and fear and relief so profound it bordered on pain. When they broke apart, Chen was held at gunpoint by Lee, his men secured. Triad boss looked at Kang Jun with pure hatred. This isn't over. My superiors in Beijing? Your superiors sent me a message an hour ago. Kang Jun's voice ice cold. Seems they're not happy with your unauthorized operations. Even less happy with continued escalation after negotiating peace terms. You're done, Chen. Disavowed. Chen's face went white. No. Impossible. They wouldn't. They already have. Kang Jun showed phone screen. Order from your boss's boss. You're being recalled to Beijing to answer questions about conduct. We both know what that means. Dead man walking. In organized crime, disavowal was death sentence. Kang Jun turned to Lee. Get him out of my city. Make sure he gets on plane to Beijing. What happens after is between him and superiors. If he runs? Lee asked. He won't. He knows running would be worse. Hard eyes on Chen one last time. You crossed lines that shouldn't be crossed. Involved innocence. Forgot even in our world there are rules. This is consequence. As Lee's men hauled Chen away, Kang Jun turned to Jasmine. We need to get you checked. Make sure you're not hurt. I'm fine. Just shaken. You were shaking when I found you. You had knife. You fought them? Almost dazed. You came into hostile situation alone, knowing you might die because they had me. Of course I did. Kang Jun, Words catching. Say it, please. I love you. Stronger than expected. I love you. I know it's crazy, only been weeks, we're from different worlds, but I do. I love you. His response, kiss her again, softer with tenderness making heartache. I've loved you from the moment you asked if I was hurt, like my answer mattered. Loved you through every conversation, every silence, every minute of these weeks. I love you, Jasmine Williams, and it terrifies me. Why? Because now I have something to lose, something more valuable than empire, power, life. I have you, and if anything happened, nothing's going to happen. We're safe. Chen's gone. Triad's back down. It's over. Is it? What happens now? You have life to return to. Classes, friends, future that doesn't involve looking over shoulder. I can't ask you to give that up. She pulled back. You're not asking. I'm choosing. I'm choosing you, this life, whatever it means. Yes, it's dangerous, complicated, but I'd rather have 1 year with you than lifetime of safe contentment. You say that now, and I'll say it tomorrow, next day. Kang Jun, I'm not naive. I know what I'm signing up for. Know your world is dangerous, but I've never felt more alive, more myself than with you. You see me, really see me. Not quiet girl playing safe, but person underneath who wanted adventure, who wanted to matter, who wanted to feel something real. He rested forehead against hers, hands cradling her face like precious. I want to give you the world, everything you deserve, but all I have is dangerous life and love that will probably get you killed. Then I'll die loving you. Honestly, there are worse ways to go. He laughed, pure disbelief and joy. You're insane. Probably. But so are you, for loving me back. Fair point. They stayed wrapped in each other, surrounded by violence evidence but finding peace in connection. Finally, Lee cleared throat politely. Boss, should move. Location's compromised. Need to debrief. Kangju nodded, not letting go. Lee, clear my schedule, rest of week. I need time to think. Plan. Plan for what? For keeping her safe. Building life that includes her without putting target on her back. Being the man she deserves while still being leader my organization needs. He looked at Jasmine. I won't ask you to give up dreams, studies, plans, but I need time to figure out both. Life with me and life you came to Korea to find. We'll figure it out together. I'm not going anywhere. She meant it. Weeks followed. They figured it out. Jasmine returned to studies with security detail Kang Jun insisted on. Discreet, professional, unnoticeable to classmates. She moved from student housing to secure apartment he owned. Independence, but he could rest easy knowing she was protected. She met his inner circle. Men running his empire, dedicated to his leadership. Skeptical at first, hardened criminals, unsure about American student capturing boss's heart. But Jasmine won them over being unflinchingly herself, asking questions, showing interest, treating them like people, not stereotypes. Kang Jun began transitioning dangerous operations to trusted lieutenants. Couldn't leave his world, wouldn't too deeply woven into identity, but could reshape it, make it safer, create boundaries between public and private. Not perfect. Nights when phone rang at 3 a.m., when he'd leave mid-dinner for crisis, when she saw responsibility weight pressing down, moments when she questioned her choice, when loving crime boss felt too heavy. But also, mornings waking in his arms, sunlight streaming through penthouse windows, quiet evenings in library, reading in companionable silence, conversations lasting until dawn, learning each other's hearts deeper than words. And love. Pure, improbable, absolutely real love. 6 months after that factory night, Kang Jun took Jasmine to Rooftop Garden where they'd first acknowledged feelings. Souls spread around them, beautiful and dangerous and full of possibility. I have something for you. Small box from pocket. Inside, ring. Not engagement, but more meaningful. Simple white gold band engraved with Korean characters inside. What does it say? You are my heart. In my world, we don't make promises lightly. Don't speak of forever when tomorrow's never guaranteed. But I promise this. For whatever time we have, however long or short, you are my heart. My reason. My redemption. Tears streaming as he slipped ring onto her finger. I love you. So much. I love you too, my salvation, my impossible gift, my Jasmine. They kissed under Seoul skyline, two people from completely different worlds who'd found each other the most unlikely way. Crime boss and student, man of violence and woman of dreams, protector and the person he'd protected, until she turned and protected him back. Road ahead would be complicated. Dangers, challenges, moments when Kong Jun's world weight threatened crushing them, but they'd face it together. These unlikely lovers who'd found each other in darkness and chose to create light. In City of Millions, in World of Shadows and Secrets, they'd carved out something real, worth fighting for, something like love. There you have it. Kang Jun, one of Seoul's most feared crime bosses, finding redemption through rescuing the woman who'd ultimately save him back. Protection becoming love, seeing beyond surface identities to people underneath, choosing danger over safety because the heart wants what it wants. These stories remind us people are rarely just one thing. Criminals can have honor codes, violence can stem from protection. Darkest souls can find light if they meet the right person. Love doesn't always follow rules we've set. Sometimes salvation comes from unexpected places. Kang Jun's journey from cold crime boss to man capable of vulnerability mirrors Jasmine's transformation from cautious student to woman brave enough to claim what she wants, regardless of risk. Together, they created something neither could build alone. Relationship forged in fire, tested by danger, ultimately stronger for all they survived. If you enjoyed this story of danger, romance, and redemption, hit that like button and subscribe to True Mafia Tales. We bring you immersive stories of love found in darkest places, criminals with consciences, women with courage. Every story explores gray areas between right and wrong, safety and passion, life we're supposed to want, and one that actually makes us feel alive. Drop a comment telling us what you thought of Jasmine and Kang Jun's story. Would you make her choice? Could you love someone from such a different world? What other Mafia romance scenarios would you like to hear? Remember, sometimes the most dangerous thing we can do is open our hearts. But sometimes that danger is exactly what we need to truly live. Until next time, stay safe out there. Or don't. Sometimes the best stories come from taking risks,